So you're trying to buy a house, but you don't want to show your full wallet. You don't want to give a pre-approval letter with the highest amount you could afford. You ask your lender to give you 4 pre-approval letters in increments of $25,000 to submit 4 different offers on the same house you're interested in. I'm going to show you why you should only ask for 1 pre-approval letter and get it right the first time. What's up, everyone? It is the Mortgage Maverick, and I'm here to discuss with you something that just happened yesterday related to pre-approval letters. Whenever someone contacts me to get a pre-approval, they always ask me for multiple letters. And the reason for this is typically because they've either heard as a consumer or their agent has told them you don't want to give a pre-approval letter with the highest amount you could afford, especially if you're buying a home that's under that amount. So the example I'll give you is if you're looking to purchase a property for $500,000, but you could really afford a property of $550,000, and you want to submit an offer for this $500,000 property for $475,000. Typically, the consumer and a real estate agent will say, well, you don't want to show that letter for $550,000 because now your full hand is on the table. You're losing your poker face. I don't think that's necessarily the case because everyone has to be transparent and honest here and ethical. If you submit an offer for $475,000, it has to be presented to the seller and the seller will consider it. Now, my opinion on this as a lender who's been doing this for 12 years, and when I buy my own real estate, I usually submit an offer with a letter over the asking price of the home if I could afford it, simply because it makes me look like a more attractive buyer. If someone's selling a house for $500,000 and I give them a letter for $600,000, if I was the seller, I would say this person's legit. They have good income, they have good credit, they have good assets, they could afford a home that's even more expensive than mine. There's gonna be some negotiation no matter what letter you provide to the seller. If you're giving an offer or submitting an offer for less than what they're asking on the market, they're most likely not gonna immediately come back and tell you, yes, your offer is accepted, unless they're under a time crunch and they need to sell the home. In this scenario yesterday, I had a client get pre-approved and she asked me for 2 or 3 different letters to increase her offer in $25,000 increments. Now, if you're an agent watching this, you're probably gonna say,
you don't know what you're talking about, I'm negotiating, and I absolutely hate your guts.
And that's fine. Those letters serve no purpose. If she just got 1 letter for her original offer, and then let's say up that letter to whatever the ask price is, you could negotiate within that amount, right? You could negotiate 2 or 3 times. Typically, the rule of thumb in the industry when negotiating to buy real estate is you want to go back and forth 3 times. Now, that's not a hard rule of thumb. Sometimes the offers go higher or lower than that, right? The amount of offers. But typically 3 times is the sweet spot. So from the seller's perspective, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to want to see a letter closer to their ask price on the market, because that's what they anticipate getting. If they believe their home is worth $500,000, they listed the house for $500,000, they want $500,000 or higher. Against the other offers that they may receive, a buyer needs to be as attractive as possible. So if I'm the seller and someone is submitting an offer, 2 identical offers to buy my $500,000 house for $475,000, and one offer comes with a letter for $475,000 and the other offer comes with a letter for $550,000. The offer that comes with the letter for $550,000, in my mind, as someone who owns and has sold real estate, I would think that that offer is stronger. If all other things are equal, the amount of down payment, reputable lender, reputable buyer's agents that are submitting offers, everything else equal, I would say if I got a letter with a higher amount that they could afford, it would make more sense to me logically that they could afford more of a house. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's my opinion. Now, what happens if the infamous 2 words come into play when you're making your offer? Bidding war. That's why when you go for your pre-approval letter, looking at the lowest amount you could afford isn't necessarily the way to do it. And all those letters in between don't matter either. With rising interest rates and home prices still being at record highs, you want to make sure that you leave no stone unturned. And for more information about affordability, watch this video.